Adrian Dunford.
I'm Anthony Sisney.
We're Double A Outdoors. I'd like to welcome you to the very first ever Double A Outdoors podcast. This is our first attempt at it, so we hope it goes smooth. And really, we're just wanting to do this to kind of give you guys a better in-depth look at us and some of the stuff we want to accomplish. The reason why we made the channel. We made the channel because we kind of want to promote how good fishing and hunting really is here in Southern Illinois. It's an area that doesn't gain a lot of attention. Most of the hunting's focused on the northern and central part of the state, and really a lot of talk doesn't go on about the southern part. Fishing wise, there's not a lot of good super lakes, as they call them around here. Like, you got your Table Rocks, you got your Sam Rayburn, you got all these big lakes that just people always talk about, but there's not a lake like that in the state of Illinois. But there are some hidden lakes located within the state that are just as good as some of the lakes across the country. Yeah, maybe not as good as some of the ones I mentioned, but there are some really good lakes here, and we want to show that to you guys, how good the fishing really is here. But just a little bit about myself. I've hunted and fished almost my whole life. I have fished ever since I can think back, as far as my memory will allow me. But I know there's pictures of me when I was like 2 years old, holding a little fishing rod and stuff, and holding like a little bluegill and things like that. And I was probably about 5 years old when my grandpa took me hunting for the very first time. And then I was about 11 or 12 when I killed my first deer. It took me quite a while, but just kind of one of the things, you always have to be at the right place at the right time, and eventually my time came. So, but that's pretty much about me.
Okay. So like Andrew, I grew up fishing and hunting. That's all I really knew what to do back then. Well, I started hunting probably when I was 3 or 4. My grandpa took me out, and I'd sit on his lap, actually, just to see the scope, just to kill a deer. And I probably killed deer around 6 or 7. Well, the first time I went fishing was probably like 4 or 5. I caught my first fish, probably right around there. It's probably a bluegill. But I don't really remember very much from back then, because I always went, bluegill fishing or something like that. But now I'm like on the hunt for big bass. Like, my PB right now is almost 9 pounds. So my goal this year is to try to break my 9-pound PB, and I'm sure that I'll get a chance to, and I hope Andrew gets a chance to break his PB as well.
Yeah, my PB right now is just around about 6.5 pounds. I had a 5.5 before that, which is probably one of my favorite fishing stories of all time. I was over at Wren Lake fishing at the marina on the docks with my grandpa, and I was sitting there and I hooked something big, and I was probably only about 8 or 9 at the time. And he hollered down the dock. He's like, "Hey, you hung up?" And I was like, "No, I've got a fish." He got up and came running as fast as he could. It's the fastest I've ever seen him run to this day. And he came down there, and we got that thing in, and it was a really good, solid fish. And I never thought I'd be able to top that. And then last summer, I was fishing at DuQuoin City Lake and hooked into this fish again. I thought I was hung up or something, but it just dove me straight down. I mean, it was just swimming as fast as it could to the bottom. And it felt like I just had a humongous fish on. It felt bigger even than what it really was. But I know I've caught catfish around the 10-pound mark, so I thought it was at least a 10-pounder. But like I said, it was just around the 6.5 mark, and that's how hard it fought. And it was a really, really fun fish to catch.
Yeah, my 9-pounder, my almost 9-pound, about almost caught. Well, that I did catch. I caught it out at Pyramid State Park, and I was ripping spinnerbait through the weeds really quick, and I let it drop off real quick and hurry up and rolled it right back up, and ended up I was reeling, and all of a sudden, like, it stopped, like I hit a brick wall, and I actually saw a tail come out of the water. So that's when I figured out I probably should hook the fish. So I hooked it, and it was like I hooked into a wall, and then the fight was on, and it was a fun fight, but luckily I got it up to the boat before my line snapped and got in the net, and my grandpa and me were so excited. My grandpa actually did not catch fish that day, which was pretty funny. Me catching that big old fish and him not catching nothing. It was a good experience though, and I was glad he was there to experience that with me.
But yeah, we received quite a few questions on social media and stuff, just asking us different questions. And we did a live feed on Instagram. I'm not sure how many people viewed it or whatever. We tried to answer some of the questions on there. But one of the questions was, what is our favorite lure type to use? And before we get into that, I learned a valuable lesson this week. Don't order discount lures from China. I was on the internet and I was like, oh, hey, this these jerk baits are pretty cheap. There's like 10 of them for $2, and they were supposed to be only about 3 inches long. Well, as you can tell, it's about 8 inches long. Like, this is my hand, and I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with these. There's only a few select lakes around here that have like things like muskie in them and stuff to even attempt to use this to try to catch those, but I might end up giving them away maybe if anybody would be interested. We can maybe do like a giveaway or something. I'm supposed to have about 9 more just like them coming, and I wouldn't have ordered that many if I knew they were this big. So now I'm going to be stuck with 10 of these things and not really sure what to do with them. So like I said, maybe I'll do a giveaway on social media or YouTube or whatever. But yeah, I guess go ahead and comment or whatever. Maybe if you'd want to win one of these, and if I do decide to give them away, then I'll definitely look through the people who are interested. But anyway, back to the question of what is our favorite type of lure to use. And my personal one is a spinnerbait, because like I said, that's what I caught my PB on and my previous PB. In fact, they were actually on the same style of spinnerbait, same blade size, same skirt color, everything. I mean, exact same spinnerbait. They're actually both I bought from Walmart. They're like $6, but it's honestly the best spinnerbait I've ever had. It's kind of like my wild card in my tackle box. Like if I'm not catching anything on top water or jerkbait or crankbait, anything like that, I will go to the spinnerbait, and I usually catch fish on it anywhere I go. I think any lake I've gone to, I've caught at least one fish on this spinnerbait. So like I said, it's kind of my wild card. I can pull it out in all types of conditions. If it's sunny, if it's cloudy, whatever. But that's definitely mine.
My always go-to lure right at the beginning is a topwater. I love topwater. I love watching the blow-ups on them. And the topwater I always have good luck on is a frog. And I don't really, pick every certain frog. I usually just go get one from Walmart. And they work just as good, I think. And I can make them look like the same actions, real one. So that's why I always pick topwater.
That's kind of the thing about what we're trying to do. We're 100% real and 100% legit. Like, we're not going to tell you we go and get our lures from some big company and sponsor. We go to some big mega store and buy them. We buy a lot of our crap from Walmart.
Yeah.
And there's honestly a lot of fishermen out there who do the same thing. They just don't like to say that. But, like, I know we filmed some stuff over the deer season, this past deer season. We ended up not really being able to get enough footage to put, like, an episode together. I might be able to try to release something like that, but like, if we missed a deer or whatever, I mean, we want to show that because we want this to be 100% legit, something that people can watch and enjoy and just relate to. Because on TV nowadays, you see fishermen catching 5-6 pound bass every time they go out in every cast because the way they edit the video, and then they kill a 200-inch deer always. And that is a very small portion of how hunting actually works. I mean, there's so many people who mount deer that's not 200 inches and are proud of them. I mean, I know I've got a deer that's like 120 on my wall that I love, that's unique, and that's the type of show we want to have that's legit, and we're not scared to admit that stuff. And I mean, your PB was caught on one of them dollar spinnerbaits from Walmart.
Hot pink.
I mean, that's just how it works, and that's legit. You don't have to have a $10 lure to catch mega fish. And like that's what I said, we just want to be real. We want to be real with you guys and honest. If you ever have any questions at all, just please ask us, because we're not really scared to answer them. I mean, unless they're like dirty or anything like that where we can't answer them, or personal, we're not gonna answer them. But I mean, if they're a legit, honest question related to the outdoors, we will definitely answer them, and we're not scared to answer them. I mean, we'll tell you anything. Like half my tackle box, there are lures I've bought at like places like Walmart. I mean, they really are, and just I honestly have caught just as many fish on $2 like lures at a $2 box at Walmart than I have spending $8 to $9 at a place like Bass Pro or Cabela's, like them bigger stores. I mean, I'm not knocking them stores because I love going to them, I love visiting them, I buy a lot of products there. But you don't have to spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars. I don't care what anybody says. You don't have to spend that much money to get good fishing stuff, to get good results. Like, you really don't. In fact, I was talking to a guy. He was fishing on the bank. It was at Wren Lake, and he had, I think he said he was using a crankbait he bought from Walmart for $2. And a bass fisherman came up and was talking to him. Was like, I can't believe that you're sitting there on the bank using a $2 crankbait. Well, that guy, the fisherman I was talking to on the bank, he was telling me the story at a later date. But when I was talking to him about it, he was like, yeah, that bass fisherman is rubbing in and stuff, his nice $60,000 bass boat and all his rods and reels and stuff. That guy was fishing the tournament in the bass boat, didn't have any fish. This guy, sitting on the bank with a $2 crankbait, caught over 10 bass just sitting there. And that right there shows you, no matter all the luxuries you have and stuff, and the things you think are necessary to catch big bass, they're really not. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have a comfortable boat to fish in. It's nice to have good lures and stuff. And, I mean, it just makes you feel more confident, more prideful. But if that's all you have, it will work. That is like the honest truth. It will work. But anyway, on with there's kind of my little rant for the day, but on to our next question. Our other question was from a guy in California, which I thought was really cool. That makes me feel glad that there's actually people in California that think enough of us to ask two Southern Illinois boys questions like this. But we both talked about it, and I think it's pretty much hands down Kincaid's probably our favorite
Kincaid Lake.
And that's Kincaid Lake in Southern Illinois. There's one in Kentucky. I think it's just a little bit south of Cincinnati, if I remember right. I passed it because I went to Cincinnati this summer, but I went kind of down in that area, if I remember right. And the only difference is, I mean, of course, the lake's different, but the lake over there is spelled with a C, and the one here is spelled with a K. It's K-I-N-K here, where it's K-I-N-C in Kentucky. But they're pronounced the same way as far as I know. I may be wrong if I am wrong, if it's pronounced a different way. But as far as I know, they're both pronounced Kincaid. But I know I never really fished there until Anthony and his grandpa took me for the first time. I fell in love immediately. But
it's just such good bass fishing down there. When we always go down there, we never leave without at least catching a bass around that 3-pound mark. And, there's other species in there like muskie and everything. You always have a chance of catching your bass lure, which is pretty fun, when you do. But like he said, first time he ever went down there was with me and my grandpa, and we just fished this one no-wake neck that we always fish, and we always do better in that one neck than anyone else does on the whole lake, it seems like.
Yeah, it seems like anybody we talk to outside of that neck, they're like, yeah, we weren't really catching much today, when we might have caught 15 or 20. I mean, it's a very good lake. It's honestly, the way the lake is set up and the way, like, the structure and stuff is under the water doesn't remind you of your typical Southern Illinois / Midwestern lake. Like, it's more like fishing a lake that's located in, like, Minnesota or something. It's very rocky. Like, there's bluffs and stuff along the lake. It's a beautiful lake. But I know, like, the Shawnee National Forest and things like that run down there. And it's just an absolute gorgeous lake. I know I fell in love with it, and I thought it was breathtaking. But
it's a pretty clear lake, too. You can see quite a ways down.
It is. And this kind of moves us into our next question. What is our dream lake to fish? Mine would personally have to be Sam Rayburn in Texas. I think was voted number 2 on the top 20 bass lakes in the United States last year, I believe. But I know a lot of pro tournaments are fished there and stuff, but that's not really the reason why. I just always looking at it, it looks like a beautiful lake. The water seems really clear. And I've always wanted to go fish a lake like that. Plus, in Texas, everything's bigger in Texas, and it seems like it's the same for bass. Yep. But I think it'd be a really good lake to fish.
My all-around lake that I really want to fish is Table Rock. I've always heard a lot of good stuff about Table Rock, and I've just never had a chance to get down there and fish it. So maybe one day, me and Andrew might be able to take a road trip and go down to Table Rock and maybe fish a little bit.
So I'm down.
Yeah, I'm down too.
But just another thing we like to throw out there, we'll be fishing a little bit of a tour this year. It's not anything big. I mean, it's just kind of like whoever wants to fish it can, but it's a series of about 6 tournaments all throughout the year here in Southern Illinois, going to various lakes. Like I know the first one's at Pinckneyville City Lake, then we go to Wren Lake, and then I think back to the Super Lake, which is located outside of Pinckneyville. It's in Pyramid State Park. I may be wrong on the schedule, but I think Crab, then DuQuoin City Lake, and then Kincaid.
Yeah.
Which I might have that order wrong, but that's just kind of one of the little tours we're going to be doing. Wish we plan on hopefully fishing a few other tournaments here and there, but make a full year of it. I know this is our first year fully committed to this and trying to do this and put out good content and stuff. But if it really wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be doing this, because we just want to give you guys the good content that other people can offer you. Plus, we want to take it to the next level, like I said, by being real. So by being real, we hope to gain them followers and stuff, just to continue to promote our ideas and our logic behind it all. That being said, we are looking for sponsors and pro staff to help us out in the year of 2018. You can email us at aaoutdoors17@gmail.com. I will also put the email in the description. But it's just, we want to be able to take it to the next level. And right now, financially, I mean, like I said, we're being real. And financially, we don't have the funds to take it to the next level or the products to take it to the next level. So that's why, if anybody be interested, sponsorship or pro staff would be greatly appreciated. We're still going to try to produce as good content as our wallets allow, and we will still try just as hard as if we had $1,000 cameras and 100 sponsors. I mean, we're still going to work our butts off and try to put out good content. Like I said, make a real 100% legit show. But our last question that we had was, what would our dream species be to catch? And this is a really tough one for me because I've never caught a smallmouth bass, which might sound crazy, but there's not a lot of lakes around here to actually catch smallmouth in. It's kind of not really that much of a smallmouth area, but I would really like the opportunity to try to catch one of those. But I think my overall species, though, I would love to catch would be a sturgeon, because I've heard them things put up a really good fight, and they're almost they are a prehistoric fish. They say they've been around for thousands of years, and I just think it'd be really cool to be able to catch one of those and hold one with your bare hands.
My fish I've always wanted to catch was a smallmouth. I've never caught a smallmouth. Our local Kincaid Lake, it's supposed to have smallmouth in it. I've never seen smallmouth in it. I've never caught one. Doesn't mean they're not in there, but like I said, I've never caught one. Probably the biggest fish I might pretty much want to go try to catch is a trout. I've always wanted to catch a trout. It always looks fun, when they're fishing like fly rods and stuff, which would be kind of cool. So, yeah, pretty much trout would probably be the biggest fish I want to go for.
So we could maybe make a big old road trip of that. We can go to Table Rock and do some bass fishing, and then I know there's a lot of springs and stuff down around the Table Rock area that have trout in them and stuff, so we might be able to make a road trip of that. Maybe not this year, but next year in the upcoming years, and we'll definitely make a video for it. But I think that's pretty much it for this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's our first one ever. But our contact information, you can email us at aaoutdoors17@gmail.com, or you can contact us on Facebook. You can search just AA Outdoors into the search bar. And also, too, you can follow us on Instagram at AA Outdoors17. But like I said, I appreciate you watching it, and stay tuned for more updates and more content to come. Thank you.
Thank you.